What is up everyone, and welcome to some more F123 My Team career mode. Last time we were at the Japanese Grand Prix and we had a very straightforward race. We basically led from lights to flag and we won with fastest lap, and I believe we reclaimed the lead of the Drivers' Championship as a result. Or maybe we're tied on points with Lando Norris actually, but either way we are looking pretty good in this championship at this moment in time, and I'm hoping that we can continue a strong run of form here at round number 18 in Qatar. Now, Qatar wasn't on the calendar last season, so I don't really know what my pace is going to be like around here with a fully upgraded car. Will we be good? Will we be bad? We'll probably be bad, if I'm perfectly honest, because this is not one of my strongest circuits since its introduction in this year's game. I've yet to really kind of crack it, yet to get my head around it. It's one of those things where I feel like in every iteration of F1, some tracks really suit me and some really don't, and sometimes those change around quite a lot. For example, in last year's game, I absolutely hated Japan. Now it's one of my favourite tracks on the calendar. So this year, Qatar, not really for me, but next year, who knows? Maybe I'll enjoy it a bit more than I've been enjoying it at the moment. Taking a look at some of these components, I'm going to keep hold of this energy store for one more race, I think, and then we're going to switch out the energy store and the gearbox in one fell swoop for the US Grand Prix in Texas, which will be the following race. It is, of course, a sprint weekend this weekend, which means that we will be having the race and the sprint beforehand. So a couple opportunities to score points. I think the sprint could be a very good opportunity for us to grab, you know, maybe a podium kind of finish at least, and then in the race I would imagine that we're probably not going to be finishing in the top three, just due to the nature of this circuit and the fact that in both of the races we've done so far around here in Season 1 and Season 2, the tyre wear was absolutely bloody atrocious. One of the worst experiences I think I've ever had. I had to do a mandatory two-stop basically in the race in Season 1, if I remember correctly. In a 50% distance race, I had to do an absolutely guaranteed two-stop. Medium hard would not work. It was not good enough to get me to the end with the tyre wear that we had. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see something similar here today in terms of tyre wear, where it's like, you know, the one stop may just barely work, but it would be quite borderline. Either way, I'm not sure. You know, we've had a lot of tyre upgrades since the last time we were here. Even since Season 2, we've had tyre wear upgrades. So there's a very good chance that we will be a little bit better on tyre wear here today. In practice, it certainly didn't seem that way. Still, we were operating about 1.5 times our expected tyre degradation, but that is a significant step down from 1.8, which is what it was in Season 1 at least. So we've definitely made progress. Here we are now in Q1 and a fresh set of soft compound tyres. We crossed the line to take a 1:19.0, and that is for a very short amount of time the fastest time on track before Leclerc goes ahead and beats it. By the time we make it onto our second run, we're all the way down in P8, and we're not really improving very much either. Only a couple tenths here, so it's going to be a decent position, but not P1, I wouldn't imagine. As we cross the line, it's a 1:18 we get into, and that is good enough for P3. Okay, actually a little bit better than I was expecting then. Not amazing, but you know, certainly something we can work with, certainly something we can do something with. And if we can continue getting that level of performance in Q2 and Q3, maybe we can compete for pole position. Kevin Magnussen there, P11. Hopefully he'll be able to get through to Q3 at least, but I don't know. He's not been that impressive this season. I was hoping he would be good for us. I know that he has the potential, but unfortunately I think he just he got nerfed at the wrong time for us. So yeah, Kevin Magnussen won't be staying with us. As always, if you are watching this video, then please do make sure to comment down below who you want to see as my teammate for the following season. Based on what people have put in the comments so far, I think my leading candidates are Jack Doohan and Felipe Drugovich, but Yuki Tsunoda is probably in the mix there as well if I can't get either of those two. And yeah, we'll be interested to see how those guys fare in the following season, Season 5. On a used set of tyres, we do a 1:19.1 here in Q2. That's actually pretty good for a used set of tyres. So I'm hoping that maybe we'll be able to compete for the top spot here in Q2. And Lord knows I need a bit of improvement here, because as we get into the final sector, we are in P9. So we're actually right on the verge of being knocked out. I think everyone has finished their runs now, so we should be fine no matter what. That means Magnussen is going to be through as well no matter what happens here. And as we round the final corner, we do get a bit of improvement there. So it's going to be a little under 5/10 of improvement as we come up to the line here for our final lap in Q2. Cross it to take a 1:18.6, and that is going to be P2 in Q2. Okay, so we're looking very, very good right now. I would say that top 3 is something that's definitely within our grasp. Jack Doohan, only 0.08 of a second faster than us. He's having an absolute blinder since he's come into Formula 1. You know, halfway through the season, he stepped in, big shoes to fill, replacing Alex Albon, and he's done exactly that. We say goodbye to Gasly, Verstappen, Perez, and Russell, both the Red Bulls there. And unsurprisingly, there were no shock DNFs in Q1. I don't think I paid that much attention to it, but yeah, all the Hasses, the Williams, the Alfa Romeos, and Alfa Tauris have been knocked out at this point as well. So yeah, we will see who can get pole position here in Q3 here at the Qatar Grand Prix. Obviously, this will take effect for the sprint because we don't have the modern sprint format on this year's game. We have the old sprint format. For F1 24, I don't know if they will update the sprint format or not, because there is some talk of them actually reverting the sprint format in real Formula 1 as well, back to what it was before. So we'll see what happens. We're currently down in P10 as we make our way into the final few corners on our final flying lap of Q3. Our first flying lap obviously was on a used set, but still, I would have wanted to have at least been ahead of somebody. Looks like Magnussen will be P10 here. We're improving by 7/10, but where is this going to put us as we cross the line? It's another 1:18.6, and that is P5. Jeez, I was expecting way better than that, but yeah, a little bit disappointing in the end there. I guess everyone just improved.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top 3. Oscar Piastri, Norris, and Charles Leclerc. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
Yeah, P5 for us. Magnussen down in P10, couldn't beat anyone there. It's a Piastri pole, and Norris has joined him on the front row there. That's pretty much the one thing I didn't want to happen, was those two on the front row, especially given that I'm going to be starting on row 3. I'm going to have to clear Leclerc and Ocon quite quickly if I want to challenge those two guys. Piastri, obviously not that much of a threat. He is about 20 or 30 points down on us in the championship, somewhere around there. Norris, on the other hand, we are literally even on points with him at the moment, so we're going to need a big result if we want to keep Lando Norris behind us in the championship. I think this may be a bit too tall of a task for us here at the Qatar Grand Prix. Not one of my strongest circuits. With the high levels of tyre deg, I think I'm going to really struggle around here to beat Lando Norris. But who knows? Maybe he might struggle, or maybe we'll get lucky with some safety cars and stuff. But either way, let's get in to the Qatar Grand Prix.
Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Oscar Piastri lines up on pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Ocon, Robinson, Hauger, Doohan, Sainz, Albon, Magnussen, Gasly, Verstappen, Perez, Russell, Sargent, Tsunoda, Liam Lawson, Joe, Hulkenberg, Fittipaldi, Stroll, and Nick de Vries rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint. Joining me for today's race once again is Anthony Davidson. Joined once again by former Formula 1 driver Anthony Davidson. And they've had a lot of on-track incidents recently that could leave them low on confidence.
Certainly confidence is an important factor. And every time you're involved in an incident, it's not just the car you damage, but that confidence as well. But all the top racing drivers are able to tune that out when the race gets underway and focus on the job at hand.
Right then, time to get into things. I have to say, I really think Codemasters should just completely overhaul that intro cutscene to these races, because a lot of the time, it just feels like the cutscene has no idea what it wants to do. Like, it will just play random effects, or like the triggers will play at the wrong point or whatever. It just feels all over the place, and I really feel like at this point, with how much of a mess it is, it might be a good idea for them to just go back to basics and start again from scratch with those intro cutscenes. But I know that they probably won't do that. It's not probably a priority for them. I know that, you know, F1 World for some reason is the priority for them on this year's game, but we will see whether that rings true for next year's game or not. In any case, let's stop talking about F1 24 and start focusing on the Qatar sprint race here, starting from P5. I want to get a good start here to make sure I can challenge my closest rivals, so we'll see what we can do as the lights come on and the lights go out. And we've had a good getaway here. Ocon's had a good getaway, shocking getaway for Oscar Piastri here, and we're going to be up certainly into P4 as Piastri plummets down the order, and we are going to be switching around the outside of both Norris and Ocon there. I got a bit greedy there with that move on Norris, but I don't think he really left me enough room to do anything but go off the track there. Either way, he's going to be fighting us back here, and we're going to hold him off around the outside. And Leclerc, all this time, is going to be breaking away into the lead of the sprint race here. But we're up into P2 off the start, so that was a pretty successful operation, I would say. Managed to go around the outside of 2 cars. It was a bit messy with Lando Norris, but I mean, it always is with him, right? With me and him battling one another, things are starting to get a little bit chaotic in this championship, because we both want it. You know, he's yet to win a world championship in this canon, and neither have I. We are both battling over our first world championships. Piastri's there as well. He is looking for a first world championship. Perez, maybe an outside chance of winning, and he's looking for a world championship as well. Norris tries to go up the inside here. He is quite a long way ahead by the time he gets to the corner, but he's so far to the inside that he has no choice but to lose out on the position to me. And as we get onto lap 4, we are still maintaining P2 for the time being. Now we are looking at a replay here. This is Oscar Piastri, and things have gone from bad to worse for the Australian here on a weekend when I'm sure, starting on pole position, he would have wanted to move a little bit closer to the championship fight between myself and Lando Norris. In the sprint, at least, he will be scoring nil points. Unfortunate for Oscar Piastri, but hopefully he'll be able to bounce back in the race for his own sake. Obviously, I don't necessarily want him to do that, but also, you know, I want a close championship fight. Big battle going on between myself and Lando Norris here. Goodness me, that was all over the place. Felt like I was going on the curbs all the time. So was he. Not sure if I was leaving him enough room, or if he was going for stupid moves, or what the deal was there. But Lando Norris, he really wants this P2 off me. He knows what this signifies. And as we come on the main straight into lap 6, I reckon he's going to have a go up the inside here. I'm going to try and push him to the inside of the corner to see if we can get back around the outside of him, and we just about have enough grip to be able to keep hold of the position for the time being. I think if we had any less grip than that, that position would have been Lando Norris's, but we managed to just about hold it on around the outside, but I don't think we're going to be able to do something like that again. So as we come onto the end of lap 6 now, we're on the pit straight once again. Going to be starting lap 7. Lando Norris is going to have that DRS, and he is so far ahead by the time we get to the corner. I don't even have a chance to fight this one. You know, that is Lando Norris through into P2. My tyres are really starting to go off at this point. As I told you, this place is an absolute nightmare for tyre deg, and I wouldn't be surprised if Lando Norris is a long way up the road the next time we have a look. In fact, it's only 1 second as we get towards the end of lap 9, but now we're coming under pressure from Jack Doohan, the other Australian McLaren driver, and we're just going to be able to hold on to the position for now. But I wouldn't be surprised if we come under a bit more pressure from Jack Doohan as the last lap unfolds here. He is, of course, the son of a very formidable racing driver in MotoGP, but I think that he is starting to step out of his father's shadow a little bit, Jack Doohan, with how remarkable his performances have been so far. I tried very late to push him to the inside, and honestly, I'd say that was a little bit naughty of me. He was coming at an even faster rate than I could have predicted there, Jack Doohan. So yeah, a little bit caught me off guard. He did, but we managed to nonetheless keep him behind. And for now, we are holding on to this quote-unquote podium position. I say quote-unquote podium because, of course, this is not an official podium that will come tomorrow. But yeah, Jack Doohan right up our chuff once again, and we are going to have to work very, very hard to keep this man behind for the remainder of the Grand Prix. Well, it's not a Grand Prix, it's a sprint, but you know what I'm saying. He's going to try and have a go around the outside at the final corner. Is he going to have enough grip to facilitate the move? No, but he has kept a tyre in there, and somebody slowed down. I think that's Leclerc as he's crossed the line, and Doohan is going to beat us to the line, and he takes P3 as we get P4. Yeah, Leclerc running out of fuel on the line there, I think, possibly. Either way, he's managed to hold on to it, and that is going to be the sprint there. P4 for us in the end. Not quite what we would have wanted, but it's not the end of the world.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Lando Norris takes the lead at the Drivers' Championship. Well, that wraps up Sprint. All that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
Lando Norris will take the lead of the championship off the back of that. He is now, I guess, 2 points ahead of me because he beat me by 2 points. And we will see how the race itself unfolds as we progress through here. I don't think Kevin Magnussen scored any points, if I'm not mistaken. The top three, of course, was Leclerc, Norris, Doohan. Doohan having an absolutely remarkable season since he came in. Like I said, he's only been in Formula 1 for what? I think this is his 7th race weekend, and he's already had a handful of podiums, a race win. Like, this is just absolutely unprecedented levels of rookie performance. It's not even like he had pre-season testing or anything like that. He literally came in mid-season to a team he wasn't affiliated with. So yeah, amazing performance by him. Let's see if he can keep it up as we get into the Qatar Grand Prix.
Welcome to Losail International Circuit, still making its history in the early stages of its period on the Formula 1 calendar. It's time for the Qatar Grand Prix. 3.3 miles, 16 turns, just the one DRS zone, but it's a long straight. We are in the middle of the desert. There is artificial grass around the track to stop sand being blown over the circuit, but they're still going to experience it if they go wide. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Robinson, Ocon, Hauger, Gasly, Albon, Doohan, Magnussen, Russell, Verstappen, Perez, Sargent, Hulkenberg, Liam Lawson, Fittipaldi, Tsunoda, Sainz, Stroll, De Vries, Joe, and Oscar Piastri. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. We welcome once again to the commentary box Anthony Davidson. And how do you mentally prepare yourself for the rush of the opening lap?
Well, the start of the race is always one of the most nerve-wracking parts. You have to hope that everyone is able to get off to a clean start, and this is possibly the trickiest part of the entire race. So many drivers in such a small space, and finding your braking point into turn one as well. It's a testament to the driver's skill that there aren't more incidents.
Okay, we need a good result today if we want to catch Norris in the Drivers' Championship.
Indeed, so let's try and get that result that we're looking for here. The soft medium really didn't look like my kind of strategy here, so I'm going to opt for the medium hard instead. I feel like if I take a set of softs here, my tyres are probably going to explode by about lap 20. Is the nature of the Qatar Grand Prix and the tyre deg around here. So I'm going to try and be very careful warming these up as well, because I want to take these mediums as long as I can to make sure that we don't spend too long on the hards either, because otherwise I think we have a good chance of spoiling those. It does mean that we're going to be on the mediums when everyone around us is on the softs, and that probably isn't going to play into our hands too much, at least not until they start to experience a bit of tyre deg. But even then, I think they'll experience about the same amount of tyre deg as I will, so we will see if we can catch Leclerc and Norris off the start as the lights come on. And the lights go out, and we've got away well compared to Lando Norris, certainly. I think we've got away a little bit better than Charles Leclerc here as well, but he is kind of storming away a little bit as we get towards turn 1. I'm going to try and go around the outside of him, and we've just about managed to find enough grip to be able to do it, and we are up into the lead of the Qatar Grand Prix, and now it's just a case of seeing how long we can hold on to this. I don't think it'll be very long at all. We're already being fought back by Charles Leclerc up the inside. We do hold him off for the time being, but yeah, I'll be surprised if this lasts more than a few laps, the position we're in at the moment. Jack Doohan, unfortunately, he had a 5-place grid penalty, so he started P8, and so we didn't really see him in the upper echelons of the starting order. But nonetheless, I'm sure that he will. It's only P8. I'm sure that he'll be able to fight back throughout the race and get a good result. But for us, it's just a case of seeing how long we can hold on. You know, we're on these medium compound tyres. I think it's going to be easier said than done. Charles Leclerc looking to go up the inside at this series of fast right-handers. We're going to be wheel-to-wheel with him, and wheel-to-wheel still as we keep ahead of him just about. But yeah, I don't think we're going to hold on to this for very long. He is looking super punchy, Charles Leclerc. Going up the inside at the final corner, we're going to be wheel-to-wheel once again. We've just about managed to hold on to that now. And, well, I think he's going to try and close us down into turn 1. You can see he's moved to the inside here. If the camera will change, yep. And by the time the camera does change, you can see that Leclerc is ahead of us, and there isn't really much of an opportunity for us to fight back. But if you think I'm going to let Lando Norris through that easily, you are sorely mistaken, because I'm going to do everything in my power to keep that man behind. I do not want him to beat me here, especially after we got beaten by him in the sprint. We need this result to take the championship lead back away from him. But as we come to the end of lap 3, he will have the DRS, Hauger will have the DRS, and both of them just absolutely breeze past me. There's nothing I can do here. I'm not faster in the corners, I'm barely faster in the straights, and when they have DRS, it's a non-contest between myself and them. And now I think it's just a case of seeing how long I can hold on to the positions I have. Try not to lose too many positions if possible, and try and score as many points as I can. Do damage limitation to Lando Norris, really. You know, we're in a position, I think, where we can afford to have a race that isn't amazing for us, as Max Verstappen overtakes us as well now. We're down to P5. You know, as long as we can still score points here, I think we have the potential to be okay. It's just that obviously I don't want to lose too many positions, because that would be dropping quite a lot of points to Norris in the championship. But we're in a position where I think we can afford to have a bit of a difficult race, because I think, you know, Texas I think has the potential to go quite well for us. Brazil certainly, probably my strongest track on the calendar. No matter what calendar it is, probably my strongest track overall, apart from maybe Canada. That one seems to go quite well for me historically as well, as Doohan is now piling some pressure on us as well. I don't know where he's come from, but yeah, he's up into P6, and he's hoping to make it P5 as we begin the run towards lap 6. So yeah, Doohan up into P5 now. We're down into P6, and I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to fall even further as the race progresses. But yeah, what was I saying? Brazil coming up, that's going to be a strong one for me. Mexico, 50-50, depends on which version of me shows up and what kind of luck we have during that race. And then Portugal, I think, has the potential to go well. Last season it went badly just because I got really unlucky with red flag timings. And then Abu Dhabi is a very, very neutral race for me. So I think we have a very, very good opportunity to still win the championship. As we're going to try and go around the outside of Leclerc here, I think he was having some kind of issues that my engineer did tell me about, but I don't know exactly what the issues are pertaining to. Possibly something that's causing him to have some difficulty in the corners, looking at the fact that he seemed to be quite slow in the corners. This is Lance Stroll in the AlphaTauri, and yeah, he is going to be out of the race. Not really much to say about that one, just that he's having an absolutely horrendous season in that AlphaTauri. I think they, you know, aren't doing too badly in terms of they're not on the bottom of the table, but I think things certainly could be going better for them right now, as we make our way into the pits at the end of lap 13, and we're going to be going on to a set of hard compound tyres for the remainder of the race. Another 16 laps here, and hopefully they can be a strong 16 laps for us to be able to make it to the end of the Grand Prix without any real headaches. Currently running in, I believe, P6 now that we've got ahead of Charles Leclerc, but who knows how things are going to transpire for the remainder of the race. It's really about keeping an eye on the Alpines as well. Gasly and Ocon, I think, could potentially pose a bit of a threat to us. What's the gap to Gasly as we come out of the pits? Let's have a look. 1.5 seconds. I definitely think that he could pose a threat to us. Charles Leclerc as well, if he's overcome those issues he was having, could be a bit of a threat to us as well as we make our way to the end of lap 14. Who is pitting on this lap? Anyone of significance? My teammate has come into the pits, but I think we're quite far ahead of him. Dennis Hauger is somebody that we were behind before the pit stop phase, and he's come out right ahead of us here. So it will be interesting to see whether we are able to maybe get ahead of him. We're 3/10 behind Dennis Hauger here. Hopefully we'll be able to stay with him and use the DRS, but unfortunately we weren't able to as we made our way through the lap. And now we are under pressure from Sergio Perez. He is going to be trying to get P5 off of us as we make our way to the end of lap 19 and the start of lap 20. Here comes Sergio Perez. He's going to be going up the inside here, and by the time we get to the corner, he's too far ahead for me to try and fight back around the outside. He's on the medium tyres. He's got way more grip. We make a bit of contact with his rear there. No damage, though, and all I want to do is just make sure that we don't fall into the clutches of Charles Leclerc if we can avoid it. Looking now at one of the Aston Martins, I have to say, when I saw this on the minimap, my heart skipped a beat because I thought initially this was Dennis Hauger, but nope, it's Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen, whose season just seems to be getting worse and worse and worse. He is out of the race, and that promotes Dennis Hauger up into P2 in this race, if you can believe it, because by this point he'd also got ahead of Doohan. So the order right now is Norris, Hauger, Doohan, Perez, myself, and Leclerc, as we make our way to the end of lap 22, is right behind us. The Alpines have fallen away from us quite significantly at this point. So I think no matter what happens, the lowest we're going to be is P6. But Charles Leclerc has made his way through up into P5. And, well, I'm just going to see if I can do anything to try and stay with him. But I think it's going to be quite unlikely. He's on those medium tyres. Maybe if they go off towards the end of the race, we might have a chance. And as we make our way to the end of lap 27, to be fair, you can see that I have managed to stay with him. Doohan still up the road on those hard compound tyres. Meanwhile, my tyre wear, Jesus Christ, look at that. What is that? 68% on the front left. I don't even know if these tyres are going to get to the end of the race, looking at that. We're going to try and go up the inside of Charles Leclerc here, dive up the inside of him. I don't know what his tyre wear must be if we're able to go for moves on him with 68%. But yeah, Charles Leclerc just about manages to get out of the way for us as we're coming through. And yeah, as we make our way to the end of lap 28 now, you can see we're on 73% tyre wear. And I think it's going to be more of a battle with our tyres than it's going to be a battle with Charles Leclerc to get to the end here. We're almost certainly going to get into puncture territory. So all we have to do is just cross our fingers and pray that, that the tyres don't explode before the end of the race. Goodness me, I really, really did not see this coming. I thought, you know, we might get into the 60s, but I didn't think it would be anywhere near this bad. I don't know, maybe it's because we were running in the turbulent air of some of the cars in front for a reasonable chunk of this stint. But either way, I just don't think that would have made this much of a difference. I don't understand how we're on 70% on both of the front tyres already. 75% now on the front left. We are in puncture territory. Every single percentage gain now increases the likelihood that we will get a puncture on this front left tyre. And if we get a puncture, we can kiss goodbye to P6, to P7, probably even to points, you would have to say. I don't think that we're going to be able to hold on to the points if we get a puncture at this stage. Now we've made our way through the fast right-handers now, so I think the worst has been and gone. But Charles Leclerc is right on our tail as well. He was looking to go for a move potentially. I don't think that he's going to be able to go for one. We're going to burn the battery to the end. Hope we can keep him behind. No puncture for us eventually, and we are going to come up to the line to just about beat Charles Leclerc to P5 on the track. And that is not the worst result we could have ever got. You know, we qualified P5 at the start of the weekend, so I'm not too disappointed with that. But Lando Norris will pull significantly ahead of us in the championship, and we've got a lot of work to do.
That's it for another Grand Prix and a fantastic win for Mercedes. Ant, talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
Lando Norris wins another race this season and takes the lead of the championship in the process. I think that with Piastri getting a difficult result here again, it will be a straight fight between myself and Norris for the championship now. Meanwhile, Dennis Hauger, I think, finally picks up his first podium in Formula 1 as he takes P2 here at the Qatar Grand Prix, and then it is Jack Doohan completing the podium, P3. What an interesting race there, and not a terrible result for us.
And now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. It's a good result for Lando Norris, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
It's got to be Lando Norris, hasn't it? Smooth, confident and assured. I've got no doubt that he and his team are going to be over the moon with his performance today.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. No change in the top spot, but with today's points, their hold on the lead is getting weaker. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula 1.
So Lando Norris is now 17 points ahead of us in the championship, and I'm not too surprised by that, to be perfectly honest with you. You know, we said coming into this weekend we thought we were going to struggle. I said I thought I was going to struggle with the tyres, and I did. Honestly, a P4 and a P5, not the worst thing that could have possibly happened. I think it could have gone a lot worse for us. To take 15 points away from this weekend, I can't complain too much about that. Yes, it's annoying that Norris did as well as he did, but we just have to hope that we can start to fight back in the following races. I think if we can get a good result in Texas, which I know we can, we typically don't for one reason or another. I think I've had 2 DNFs there in the 3 times I've raced there so far, so that probably doesn't help. But yeah, we definitely do have the potential to get a good result there. Mexico, like I said, it really is just a coin toss, I would say. Sometimes it seems like I have no pace around there. Sometimes it seems like I am capable of competing for, you know, podiums and that kind of thing. Brazil and Portugal, I'm kind of banking on those going quite well. They typically do for me. Obviously, anything can happen, but like I said, I'm kind of just operating under the assumption that those 2 races are going to be strong races for me. And then, like I said, Abu Dhabi, obviously there's no Vegas on the calendar this year, so Abu Dhabi is going to have to be the big one for me. Kevin Magnussen really has not put in the level of performance I would have expected that he would have done, quite frankly, especially considering he made Q3. To not grab, I don't think he grabbed any points this weekend, or maybe he grabbed 1 or something like that. Either way, it's just not really good enough from K-Mag, unfortunately. And, well, there's a reason I'm replacing him at the end of the season. Let me know what you think. Do you think I should try and sign Jack Doohan to our team? Poach him from McLaren when he's been doing really well over there? Or should we try and grab Felipe Dragovic, who so far has yet to make his debut in Formula 1? Should we get another driver from one of the lower teams, perhaps Liam Lawson, who has been pretty decent, or Yuki Tsunoda, who's not looked bad either? Or should we go for somebody else entirely? Let me know in the comments down below who you think we should sign for Season 5. We've only got, I believe, 5 race weekends left now. Texas, Mexico, Brazil, Portugal and Abu Dhabi, so not long now, and I am recording these very quickly back to back from one another. For example, I'm doing Qatar and Qatar on the same day, so pray for me that my voice holds out for that one. But yeah, I'm recording these quite quickly in succession. I'm going on holiday soon, so I need to make sure that I get Season 5 finished before then. So if you are wanting to weigh in, you're going to have to make sure you get your comments in quite quickly on who you think is going to be my teammate for next season, who you want to be my teammate for next season. You know, I definitely want to have your input on it to make sure I pick somebody who you guys are going to like, who you guys are going to cheer for as much as you'll cheer for me. And that is going to be it for this video. So if you enjoyed it, make sure you like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.